Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do.
US B-2 bombers drop bomb Iran's nuclear facilities. The U.S. intervention was timely. It came at a time when people were suffering from Iran's cluster bombs and Fatah missiles. U.S. President Donald Trump said he had obliterated Iran's main nuclear sites in strikes overnight, in a major new escalation of conflict in the Middle East as Tehran vowed to reserve all options to defend itself. In Israel, which triggered the crisis by attacking Iran's nuclear and military sites on June 13, retaliatory Iranian missile fire appeared heavier overnight than in previous days, and the health ministry said 86 people were injured. Iranians voiced fear at the prospect of the 9-day conflict expanding. Trump, in a televised address to the U.S. people, flanked by Vice President J.D. Vance, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, called the strikes a spectacular military success that had taken out Iran's three principal nuclear sites, Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo. He warned Tehran it would face more devastating attacks if it did not agree to peace. "The events this morning are outrageous and will have everlasting consequences," said Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, calling the U.S. strikes a grave violation of the UN Charter, international law, and the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Iran reserves all options to defend its sovereignty, interest, and people. Araghchi posted on X after days of deliberation and long before his self-imposed 2-week deadline. Trump's decision to join Israel's military campaign against its major rival, Iran, is the biggest foreign policy gamble of his 2 presidencies, and one fraught with risks and unknowns. The major escalation of armed conflict in the Middle East risks opening a new era of instability in the Middle East. Trump said Iran's future held either peace or tragedy, and there were many other targets that could be hit by the U.S. military. If peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. In a diplomatic effort with Iran on Saturday, the U.S. said the strikes were all U.S. plans and not aimed at regime change, CBS News reported. Trump said on Fox News that 6 bunker-buster bombs were dropped on the deep-sea Fordo facility, while 30 Tomahawk missiles were fired at other nuclear sites. A U.S. official told our correspondent on condition of anonymity that U.S. B-2 bombers were involved in the strikes. We previously reported on the deployment of B-2 bombers, which can be equipped to carry the massive bombs that experts say are needed to strike Fordo, which is buried under a mountain south of Tehran. Given its location, it could take days, perhaps longer, to know the full impact of the strikes. An Iranian official, cited by Tasnim news agency, confirmed part of the Fordo site was attacked by enemy airstrikes. However, Mohammad Monin Raisi, a lawmaker for Qum near Fordo, told the semi-official Fars news agency the facility had not been seriously damaged. A reporter from Iranian state media IRNA reporter said he had arrived near the Fordo site at 3 a.m. and saw smoke that seems to be related to air defenses. He quoted a nearby witness as reporting 6 explosions were heard, but they said it wasn't very loud. Iran's Atomic Energy Organization said it would not allow development of its national industry to be stopped, and an Iranian state television commentator said every U.S. citizen or military member in the region would be legitimate targets. Israel's health ministry said 86 people were injured on Sunday morning, most of them lightly. Air raid sirens sounded across most of the country, sending millions of people to safe rooms and bomb shelters as explosions rang out and missile interceptions were seen above Jerusalem and in other parts of the country. "It's not easy to live now in Israel, but we are very strong. We know that we will win," he said. It was not immediately clear how many missiles had pierced Israel's air defense systems, but police confirmed at least 3 impact sites in residential areas in central and northern Israel. Video from Israel's commercial hub, Tel Aviv, and the port city of Haifa further north showed rescue teams combing through debris. Apartments reduced to rubble, mangled cars along a street filled with debris, and medics evacuating injured people from a row of blown-out houses. Most airlines continued to avoid large parts of the Middle East after the U.S. strikes, according to flight tracking website Flight Radar 24. With traffic already skirting airspace in the region due to recent missile exchanges, the UN nuclear watchdog said no increases in off-site radiation levels had been reported after the U.S. strikes. Hassan Abedini, deputy political head of Iran's state broadcaster, said Iran had evacuated the 3 sites some time ago. The enriched uranium reserves had been transferred from the nuclear centers, and there are no materials left there that, if targeted, would cause radiation and be harmful to our compatriots, he told the channel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu congratulated Trump on his bold decision, saying, "History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime, the world's most dangerous weapons." Israel and Iran have been engaged in more than a week of aerial combat that has resulted in deaths and injuries in both countries. Israel launched its attacks on June 13, saying Iran was on the verge of developing nuclear weapons. Iran says its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes only. Israel is widely assumed to possess nuclear weapons, which it neither confirms nor denies. Diplomatic efforts by Western nations to stop the hostilities have so far failed. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called the U.S. strikes a dangerous escalation in a region already on the edge, and a direct threat to international peace and security. In the U.S., Democratic lawmakers and some from Trump's Republican Party have argued that he must receive permission from Congress before committing the U.S. military to any combat against Iran. At least 430 people have been killed and 3,500 injured in Iran since Israel began its attacks, Iranian state-run Nur News said, citing the health ministry. In Israel, 24 civilians have been killed and 1,272 people injured, according to local authorities.